So you may have heard of words like agentic workflows or MCP servers being thrown around online. Now, maybe you know what these words are, or maybe you do know what they are, but you want to learn how to build something useful using these tools. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use these two things by using Google Antigravity 2.0. I'm going to be building an AI assistant that's connected to the Google Workspace MCP server that's going to be connected to Gmail, Calendar, Docs, etc. So by the end of the video, you're going to have a really helpful AI assistant that's connected to your Google Workspace tools, and you're going to have your very first agentic workflow. If this is something that you're interested in learning how to build, keep watching and I'll show you how to set it all up. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is David, where I show you how to build AI agents and automations. Now, first, I apologize for my long absence. I haven't been making any videos in a while, but I'm going to be back on my schedule making videos regularly like I used to. So sorry about that. But anyways, let's move on into the video. So like I said, I'm going to be building an AI agent, assistant, with Google Workspace MCP server. Now I'm going to put a link in the description below of the steps to follow along with me, because you're going to need some prompts, and just to make it easier for you, you can copy and paste them. So go ahead into the link in the description. It's going to take you to my repository here, and it's going to have all the steps. So this is what we're going to be following along right here. And this AI assistant is going to be very similar to what I've built before. So it's going to be something similar to this, what I built in N8N previously. If you've been watching my videos, you probably recognize this, where I make sub workflows. Each agent is connected to certain things, like one is for calendar, one is for Gmail. So it's going to be very similar to this type of setup. However, what's very different about it is that it's very simple. It's just going to be these two folders right here, and then this readme is just the instructions that you'll see on my GitHub. So I'm going to go over just a couple things for terminology, how we're going to be building this, what you need to get this all set up, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the build up. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so let's go over a couple things that we'll be setting up here today. So like I said, we're going to be setting up an agentic workflow. And in case you don't know what that is, an workflow is where one or more agents autonomously plans, decides, use tools, and completes tasks to achieve a goal with minimal human intervention. So the workflow we're going to be setting up here today, which I'll show you how to do, it's going to be a set of instructions to the agent, telling it what to do, what the goal is, and how to use the tools, in this case the Google ones, to complete the tasks that it needs to do. So what we're going to be setting up for the workflow is it's going to be daily briefing. So you just give the agent a couple words, and then it's going to go through your Gmail calendar. It's going to set up your whole plan for that day. So it's going to decide, what's important, what's not. It's going to find all the critical items that you need to pay attention to, and it's going to give it to you in a daily plan. So that's the workflow we're going to be setting up. And then, of course, that's going to be using the MCP server. So the way I like to describe this to people is that it acts as a bridge between your agent and all of your tools. So again, if you don't know what that is, it's a standardized bridge that securely gives AI agents access to external tools, data, and services through a common interface. So the interface in this case is going to be Antigravity. The agent, in order to have connection to all of your tools and use all of those things like Gmail and Calendar, it's going to be using the MCP server to connect them. So in case you're still confused about all these things, don't worry, I'm going to show you how to set this all up step by step, and you'll see how easy it is. Okay, and then what you'll need is Google Antigravity 2.0, of course. Just make sure that you're on the latest one, not the old one, so make sure you're on 2.0, and then you're going to be using Python 3. That's going to be needed for the MCP server setup. All right, so we're going to be following this guide here today, and I don't have it here in this steps, but I'll put a little bit in there for how to download the tools that you need. So for Google Antigravity, it's just going to be antigravity.google. Depending on what you're using, is going to tell you what the download link will be for. It's just a standard installation. And then for Python, same thing. You go to downloads and then you just download the latest one. So just make sure you have these two things. Once you do, you're good to go. So if that's the case, let's get ready and start building. All right, so follow the link in the description below to go to my repository here in GitHub and follow the steps. So I'm gonna add a little bit more here, but what we're gonna need to do first is set up a project in Google Cloud. So step one, log into Google Cloud and create a project. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm just here at my Google Cloud account. Let's set up a new project here, just in my test account. As you can see my N8N one there. I'm just gonna name this Antigravity just gonna name this Antigravity demo. Let's just do that. All right, so create. All right, so it's just gonna create the project right here. Ready, it's good to go. All right, so I'm just gonna click select project here. Perfect, and we're in our project. Now, this is similar to the Google project setup that I did for N8N a while back. If you watched my previous videos, I'm just gonna do the process here again. It's slightly different, so I encourage you to watch this part as well. But I will leave chapters below in case you've done this step already, so you can just skip ahead. But anyways, so you're gonna expand this menu right here, and then we're gonna go to APIs and services, and then let's go ahead and set up OAuth consent screen. All right, so you're going to be taken to this where it's going to say get started. So just go ahead and click on that. Now we're going to be creating an app. Just name it whatever you like. I'm just going to keep it the same. Antigravity demo. Set up your support email. Next, make sure you select external. Next, contact information. Just going to leave it like with my test account. Next. Agree to the terms, and you're good to go. All right, so you're going to be taken over here. Not much is going on. Let's go ahead and select create OAuth client. All right, now you're going to see this drop down here. Just make sure that you select desktop app. So like I said, I've done this with N8N before. Before I set it up with web app. So make sure this time you're doing a desktop app. So you're going to select that. I'm just going to call it Antigravity desktop client. This can be whatever you like. All right, you're going to see this right here. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but when I was clicking download JSON, nothing would happen. So if you're at the step, you just click on download JSON. If nothing happens, just click OK. Click on your client. And then right here, you can download JSON with this arrow right here. Could be just me. I don't know if the same thing's happening with you, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on this. Download JSON. Just leave that in your downloads folder for a minute. We got a little bit of other stuff to do. So the next thing you're going to be selecting here is audience. Now, last time I would publish my app. This time we're not going to be doing that. So don't publish your app. What you will need though is a test user. So click on test user and just select the same email address or whatever you like. Click on save and then you're good to go there. All right, perfect. So that's pretty much it for the Google Workspace, Google Cloud setup. Unlike the last time with N8N where you had to set up a callback address, you don't have to do that this time. We're going to be using that credentials JSON that you just downloaded. So now what you're going to do is pick a location on your computer where you're going to be saving all these files. Okay, so I'm going to be creating these two folders here. You're going to create one that's called .secrets and one that's called workflows. just like that right here. Now you're going to be copying that JSON file that you just downloaded right in this folder where you put these new folders here. So go ahead and go to your downloads and copy that over. All right, so I just copied it right here and I just renamed it credentials.json. So go ahead and do that. Now that's pretty much set up for the folders. Now what you're going to do is you're going to open this folder. In my case, I named this folder YouTube. Just go ahead and open that in Antigravity. All right, so here we are in Antigravity. Now I have some folders here. This is just from when I was testing, but right now for this video, I'm going to start from scratch. So file and open that folder that you just created, the project folder. All right, so in my documents, I'm just going to pick that YouTube folder. And here we are. So here is, oh, just click yes, I trust. Here are the two folders that are currently empty. And then you have your credentials.json that you have set up. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving the agent a prompt here. So I'll be using Gemini 3.5 Flash for this. If you're going to be using the cloud ones, just keep in mind that they are a little bit more pricey in terms of token usage. So just keep that in mind when you're selecting your model. Okay, so we're almost done. Going back to my GitHub here, what we've done here is we created the project. We've set up the consent screen. We downloaded the credentials. We just need to enable the APIs. So that was my bad on my part. We already created the folder here, but let's quickly go back to Google Workspace right here. We're going to be enabling some things here. So just go to the search at the top right here, and we're going to be enabling these APIs. So just go Gmail API. And then right here, you're going to click on enable. Okay, once it's done loading, it'll show you this. And then you're basically going to do the exact same thing for the rest. So calendar API, click on that and enable. It's going to be the exact same process. So just make sure you do the search for Google Docs and Google Drive. That's just going to be what we're doing for this video today. So if we do Drive API, same thing, and then just do the same thing for Google Docs API, Google Sheets API, and then that's about it for this video. All right, that's it. Now we're done with Google stuff, and that should be it for Google Cloud. So sorry about missing that step. All right, so now we've enabled our APIs, and we've already done our folder and copied the credentials to it. The next part here is to paste the prompt below to set up the MCP server. So you're about to see the magic of Google Antigravity. So there is a manual process to this, and I have done it. It's not too bad, but you can actually have Antigravity set this up for you. So just go copy, paste this prompt right here that I have in the steps. So before I paste it in, I'm just going to tell you what it is right here. So it's just telling Google that you have your credentials in the folder that we just created. You're asking it to set up an MCP server, which will be the Google Workspace MCP server, and then it'll be installing the dependencies that it needs. So whether you're on Mac or Windows, it's going to install the things that you need to get this all set up. So let's go back to Antigravity, paste, all right, and fire it off. All right, so it's working through it, it's thinking, and then if it needs to install anything, it's gonna say, it's gonna ask you to allow it. So I've done this for testing, so a lot of things that might not show up here asking me to allow because I've already allowed it before, and I set it to always allow. But just, if you get a bunch of those, just that's what it is. All right, so these are some of the things that might show up right here. So it's asking you to make these changes. So it's gonna modify the config file for the MCP server setup. This is the part that I said that you can do manually, but Antigravity is going to do it for you. So I'm just going to hit yes and always allow. So hit submit. All right, you're going to get this pop up right here. Just choose your Google account. So in case you get this, no worries. It probably has to work out a few other things. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way is just showing you the sort of the easier way to do it. If you're not much of a technical person, this might be the ideal way to set up your MCP server. If you don't want to start touching config files and whatnot, you can have Google set it up for you. So it's just going to go through and continue setting it up. Just keep hitting allow. All right, so right here is telling me that it's completed the setup. Let's just test this out. So right now it is connected to this Gmail account right here, the inbox. I'm going to be sending a test email here, and then I'm going to check to see if Antigravity can identify that Gmail account. Okay, so I sent myself a couple of test emails right here. And then I also made just a test meeting right here. So client meeting, just to see if it can pick this up. All right, so I'm gonna see if it can find these emails here. So going back to Antigravity, gonna go right here. See, please tell me which emails I have in my inbox. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, yes, always allow. All right, so now it's gonna do this again. So if you remember last time it didn't work, let's see if it works this time. Okay, this is the important thing I wanted to show you. So you're gonna get this. Google hasn't verified this app. That's all right. You're gonna say continue. Continue. Select all. Scroll down. Continue. Good, you're good. So when you see this, then you're good to go. You can close this window and go back to Antigravity. And you're authenticated. Okay, so I'm just gonna re-prompt that here. And just hit always allow so it doesn't bug each time for this. So it's working through. All right, now let's see what it came up with right here. It said important email, no rush. It said where it was from, and then it says the body. So let's check these emails right here. So I'm gonna look for the one that says important email, and then I'm gonna make sure that it says please remember to bring snacks for today, because of course that's a very important email. Please remember to bring the snacks for today. And then there's the other one that says no rush, bring pencils to work. I don't know, just random things I couldn't think. Yeah, bring pencils to work, subject, no rush. So it looks like it can connect to my Gmail. Let's just see if it can connect to that test meeting that I made myself today. So please tell me what meetings I have for today. Okay, so it spit out. I have one meeting scheduled for today, client meeting, 10 a.m., meeting with ABC company. So now if I go to if I can find my window, okay, calendar right here, 10 a.m., client meeting with the ABC company about the automation consult. And that's exactly what it says right here. All right. So we have tested our connection and we have made sure that our Google Antigravity is connected to our Google tools using the MCP server. So if this is your first time doing any of these kind of things, congratulations, you have just set up an MCP server connection. So what does that leave us with next? That means we have to set up our agentic workflow. Now, this can take some time, but I made it really easy for you. So like I said, if we're following my GitHub here, all right, so we just completed step 7, review the changes. Now, scroll to the top, you'll see we have the same folders right here. And just FYI, this is going to grow as I move along with this project. But click on workflows, and we're going to select this start my workday.md. So go to your folder. All right, go to workflows. And then you're going to create a new file right here. All right, so when you're creating this file, just call it start-my workday, right? Start my workday.md. All right, that's a markdown file. This is what the agent is going to be using for its instructions. So you're just going to open it up. I'm just going to be doing this the way with the UI. Open this up. And this is basically the instructions that it has and what it's going to do. All right, so when you're here, just click on the code tab. And then this is what you're going to copy. You just copy right here, or just highlight and copy. But once you copy that, you're going to go into that file, paste, and then just save. You're good to go. All right. That's it. Back to Antigravity. Now, what this is going to do, let's just go back to the steps right here. Now, going back to preview, just so you can see it a little bit easier here, it's going to go through different steps right here. So it's going to go through your calendar, your Gmail. It's going to summarize your meetings, all the important things that you should be paying attention to. And then in the Markdown file, you can just erase the placeholder email that I have in there, replace it with your own, and then it's going to send that report to that email address that you set it up there. So just make sure that after you paste that file, so I'm just going to use that test email. Okay. Now save. I'll have this in my instructions as well, but yeah, we have that correct right there. Good. That's pretty much all you have to do to set up your agentic workflow. Let's test it out and see how it works. So before we do that, I'm just going to throw in some extra test emails here just to see if it can summarize that properly. I threw in a couple of more test emails. This one's just talking about a pretend meeting on Friday. This one just give me a call, blah blah blah. All right, so how does this work? How does this workflow do its thing? So you're gonna give the agent just a simple one-line instruction, and then when it does that, it's gonna look in its workflows folder, and then it's going to review this MD file, this markdown file that you just created. Then it's going to follow the steps in there. So when you select this one right here, right? The title is Start My Workday, so that's what we're going to be putting in there. So Start My Workday, and then it should run through all of these steps. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Start My Workday. And it found the markdown right there. Perfect. And then it's going to connect to the Google Workspace MCP and do what it needs to do. Hopefully, we'll see what it does. Looks like it finished doing its thing. It said it's completed. It sent all the details to this email address. I sent it to the same one. If that's how you like to set it up, you can do that. But it just does a prep for your day, high priority items, and it gives you some recommendations on what to do. So I'm just going to check my inbox and see if that's the case here. There we go. So since I put the same email address, it says me, today's briefing, and today's date. I'm going to put in a step there to write it in HTML so it doesn't look like this. So by the time you watch this video, it'll have that improvement. But today's scheduled right here. It tells me what I have for the schedule, high priority emails. It's going to do some meeting prep, recommended tasks. Perfect. So it looks like it did what it said it did in Antigravity. And it basically gave me a whole daily briefing of my day. So in this scenario, you'd open up Google Antigravity, you say, start my workday, goes through all those things. And then it gives you a high level overview of what your day is like, give you some recommendations on what to prioritize, and it tells you your high priority items. So acting as an AI assistant that gives you a briefing for your day connected to your Google tools like Gmail and your calendar. So that is it. Congratulations, you have set up an MCP server connection and your very first agentic workflow. Now, if you want to modify this, you totally can. Instead of having it send to your own email address right here, like I did here, you can modify step 5 to, let's say, hey, put this all in a Google Doc and then save it in this folder in Google Drive, and it'll do that. So feel free to modify this any way you want. This is just sort of a template that you can use. It works right out the box, but modify it to however you want and whatever your needs are. All right, so that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. Like I said, I apologize for my absence, but I'll be back on the regular making videos. If this is the type of content that you like watching, feel free to subscribe. Give this video a like if you found it useful. It really helps out the channel. But I do hope that you learned something new today, or you build something useful with Antigravity 2.0 and making a really cool agentic workflow. Now, this is going to be a series, and this is going to be episode 1. I'm going to be building off of this exact same setup. In the next video, I'm going to be building more workflows, adding more to this folder, and then giving your AI assistant more capabilities. And you'll see how powerful this can really be. And it's going to be really cool seeing how this evolves and how it grows. Like I said, I'm going to be on the regular making more videos. Stay tuned. I'm going to be working on episode number 2, where we're going to be adding more workflows. So this is David signing off. Once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.